Hello and welcome to New Awakening Theology. In today's video, we'll talk about Christ's commandment, honor marriage. Reading from Matthew 19, verses 4 through 6. Haven't you read, he replied, that at the beginning the Creator made them male and female and said, for this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and the two will become one flesh. So they're no longer two, but one flesh. Therefore, what God has joined together, let no one separate. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons so you won't miss any of my future videos. In Jewish law, a man had the right to divorce his wife by simple declaration, no trial and appeal. This was assumed to be the intention of Deuteronomy 24, 1 through 4, where we read, when a man takes a wife and marries her, if then she finds no favor in his eyes because she has found some indecency in her, and he writes her a certificate of divorce and puts it in her hand and sends her out of his house, and she departs out of his house, and if she goes and becomes another man's wife, and the latter man hates her and writes her a certificate of divorce and puts it in her hand and sends her out of his house, or if the latter man dies who took her to be his wife, then the former husband who sent her away may not take her again to be his wife after she has been defiled, for that is an abomination before the Lord, and you shall not bring sin upon the land that the Lord your God is giving you for an inheritance. A Jewish woman did not have the same right. Some indecency which that passage gives as grounds for divorce left room for debate. Some teachers said this only applied to adultery or other gross sexual misbehavior. However, the common practice supported by most rabbis was that it was up to the husband and he could use any reason he wished. Jesus chose not to enter this debate. He declared that divorce, for whatever reason, was not compatible with God's purpose for marriage. He set the original intention of God as expressed in Genesis 1:27 through 2:24, above Deuteronomy 24. Jesus in 1:27, 2:24 says, so God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them. And God blessed them. And God said to them, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth and subdue it and have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the birds of the heavens and over every living thing that moves on the earth. And God said, behold, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is on the face of all the earth, and every tree with seed in its fruit. You'll have them for food, and to every beast of the earth, and to every bird of the heavens, and to everything that creeps on the earth, everything that has the breath of life. I have given every green plant for food. And it was so. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And there was evening and there was morning, the sixth day. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the seventh day, God finished his work that he had done. And he rested on the seventh day from all his work that he had done. So God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, because on it God rested from all his work that he had done in creation. These are the generations of the heavens and the earth, when they were created in the day that the Lord God made the earth and the heavens. when no bush of the field was yet in the land, and no small plant of the field had yet sprung up. For the Lord God had not caused it to rain on the land, and there was no man to work the ground, and a mist was coming up from the land, and was watering the whole face of the ground. Then the Lord God formed the man of dust from the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living creature. And the Lord God planted a garden in Eden in the east, and there he put the man whom he had formed. And out of the ground the Lord God made to spring up every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. The tree of life was in the midst of the garden, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. A river flowed out of Eden to water the garden, and there it divided and became 4 rivers. The name of the first is the Fishon. It is the one that flowed around the whole land of Halviah, where there is gold, and the gold of that land is good. Bdellium and onyx stone were there. The name of the second river is Gihon. It is the one that flowed around the whole land of Cush. And the name of the third river is the Tigris, which flows east of Assyria. And the fourth river is the Euphrates. The Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and keep it. And the Lord God commanded the man, saying, "You may surely eat of every tree of the garden, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat, for in the day that you eat of it, you shall surely die." Then the Lord God said, "It is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him a helper fit for him." Now out of the ground the Lord God had formed every beast of the field and every bird of the heavens, and brought them to the man to see what he would call them. And whatever the man called every living creature, that was its name. The man gave names to all livestock, and to the birds of the heavens, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found a helper fit for him. So the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon the man, and while he slept, he took one of his ribs and closed up the place with flesh. And the rib that the Lord had taken from the man, he made into a woman and brought her to the man. Then the man said, "This at last is bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother, and hold fast to his wife, and they shall become one flesh." You see, Jesus explains that divorce was never God's intention, and that the provision for divorce in Deuteronomy 24 was only given because of the people's hard hearts. It was a concession to deal with the result of sin, not an expression of God's will. He said to them in Matthew 19:8-9, "Because of your hardness of heart, Moses allowed you to do divorce of your wife. But from the beginning it was not so. And I say to you, whoever divorces his wife, except for sexual immorality, and marries another, commits adultery." Jesus understood that a total ban on divorce was in reality unworkable because of the hardness of the sinful nature of human beings, and the fact that not everyone has the gift of marriage. But that did not change the fact that God intended that marriage would be a permanent commitment, just as the marriage of Christ and his church is a divine intention. Divorce is a sin, but it is not an unforgivable sin, and it should never be entered into lightly. Now, in my next video, we'll discuss Christ's commandment, be a servant. Thanks, and have a great day.